Hi, this is Lindsay, one of the co-hosts of Beauties and Headcanons. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Watch what you tell yourself, because you're likely to believe it. Russ Kyle. Hello, welcome to Choose to Rise. Today we're talking about a super important topic, your inner self-talk. Your self-talk matters so very much. It really guides everything that you do in life, because we've talked about before that pattern of your results come from your actions, and your actions come from your feelings, and your feelings come from your thoughts. So if you want to change the end results of your life, if you want to change where you're going, how you're achieving things, what your life looks like, you have to back up all the way to your thoughts. And your thoughts are that inner self-talk. That your thoughts are that inner voice that makes sense of the world for you. It's the piece that communicates for yourself, that it's that little running dialogue that happens in your head. And you may not even realize it, but that inner self-talk might be sabotaging your life. It's probably adding more stress to you. It might be stealing your thunder or your joy. It might be affecting your life more than you even realize. So if your self-talk is generally negative, you're probably looking through the lens of life in a negative way, probably adding more stress to your day, creating unnecessary anxiety and stress for yourself. And you may be even attributing negative motivations to people who are trying to be well-meaning for you. You may be perceiving yourself as less equipped or to handle challenges that you face. And you may be seeing only the negatives that are happening around you instead of the positives. Like I said, you kind of put on some glasses that are like looking through the negative lens, and you're not able to see the positives because you're only focusing on the negative things in life. What you focus on, you create more of, right? And so if you want to have a more positive light, if you want to have a more positive day, we need to flip the inner talk to be focusing and looking at the good things that are happening in your life. I want you to be able to face life with a joy. I want you to face life with a smile. I want you to be able to go out and look at the bright side of things instead of perceiving all the negative habitual things that are happening around you. You may also succumb to rumination of like negative patterns of thinking that consume your idle time and bring your stress sky high and your ability to be present in the moment super low. So today I want to help you kind of identify some of those things, and I want to help you change that inner talk, because positive self-talk and negative self-talk, they both start out very young. It's usually how that habit is usually created very young, but that doesn't mean that if you're not very young that you can't change that, right? So it's going to take time. The patterns that you've built up over the last years, over the last decades, they're going to take some time to unwind, but that doesn't mean that you can't change them. And I would really love for you to just start taking the practice, not getting frustrated with yourself if you can't make a change right away, but any time to change is a good time to change. Any time is like right now is the best way to start doing it. So let's start reducing the stress in our life. Let's start taking away the negative lenses. Let's remove those glasses and start putting on some happy ones, and really start to boost your productivity, boost your self-esteem, and to release some stress. All right. So how do you do that? Well, number one thing you can do is notice your patterns. The first step towards change is to become aware of the problem. I mean, you've probably heard this 100 times, but you don't probably realize how often you say negative things in your head or how much it affects your experiences. The following strategies that I'm going to list for you today, they've helped me identify my blind spots. They've really helped me learn to look at the whole picture and not just where my direct vision is happening at the moment. And they've helped me be more conscious of my inner dialogue and the content of my inner dialogue as I've worked through things, as well as some of my clients that I've worked with. So these three things have helped me personally, as well as people that I work with. So I want to be able to share them with you as well. So the first one is journal writing. Whether you carry a journal around with you and jot down the things that are happening in your day, kind of those negative thoughts or comments that you think of, writing a general summary of your thoughts at the end of the day, just kind of sitting down and doing a reflection piece, really thinking about writing down your feelings on certain topics and then later going back to analyze them. Journaling can be a super effective way to examine that inner dialogue and that inner process that's happening around you. Another one, this one's been the most effective for me, is called thought stopping. As you notice yourself saying something negative in your mind, you can just tell yourself to stop, right? Stop your thought midstream. You have control over that. You can literally say the word out loud, stop, or you can say it in your head, depending on what you're doing and where you're at. But the saying this aloud will definitely be more powerful. And you have the ability to become more aware of how often it's happening, what the content is happening, and maybe what else is going on in circumstances around you. Like, are you in a stressful place? Are you in a calm place? Like, what's happening and what's the conversation going on? So that thought stopping is a really good technique. The third one is maybe a little more discreet, and it's definitely one that I've experienced more with larger groups of people, and doing a training called 21 Keys. It's called rubber band snap. It's another therapeutic little trick to kind of walk around with a rubber band around your wrist. As you notice negative self-talk, you just pull the band back and kind of snap your skin. It'll hurt just a tiny little bit. I don't want you to leave a big mark or anything, but just enough to get you to notice. And it's a slightly negative consequence that will both make you be more aware of your thoughts and to help stop them, because you don't want to walk around snapping yourself all day, right? And so you'll be able to be more aware of it and then do something about it now that you're aware. Okay, so now that we know that we're aware of the things that are going on in our life because we've journaled, because we're doing the wrist thing, or we're just telling ourselves to stop, or catching our thoughts, the awareness is there. So now, instead of having just awareness, now we need to replace those negative statements. It's harder to start a new habit than it is to replace a habit that you have. So a good way to stop a bad habit is to actually replace it with something better. So instead of doing this, try doing this instead. One word that I try to do is just have you ever been to a hospital and noticed how the nurses talk about discomfort instead of pain? This is actually called milder wording. And it's generally done because pain is a powerful word, and it really strikes deep emotion for some people. And discussing your pain level might actually make your experience, intense, and it can be like a kind of alarming for people. But if people talk about their discomfort level, then that's a less powerful word, and it doesn't necessarily drive the emotion that the word pain definitely does. So you can try this strategy in your daily life. In your self-talk, turning away from powerful negative words and more neutral ones can help actually neutralize your experience, instead of trying to use words like hate and angry, like, oh, I hate traffic, or this makes me so angry. You can use words like, I am not loving this traffic, or I just don't like, or maybe I'm annoyed. These definite words are kind of moving you towards that neutral pattern. And something I learned with Brooke Castillo through the Life Coach School podcast is that when you have a negative scenario, you first make the shift from negative to neutral. And then after you're in a neutral state, you're able to move from neutral to positive. It's almost virtually impossible to go from negative to positive in one move, but making sure that you're working from one to the next, taking those steps, is definitely going to help you. So that's actually the next tip for you. Okay. So start using those milder words to help you not evoke so much emotion around them. But then from changing from negative, going to neutral to positive. And as you find yourself mentally complaining about something, rethink it, right? Are you assuming something that's negative that's not even a possibility or a necessity? For example, like having your plans canceled at the last minute can seem super negative. However, but what if you thought of it instead as a new freed schedule, as a new opportunity for change? And the next thing you find yourself stressing about something or deciding you're not up for the challenge, just stop, rethink the situation. How can I see this in a different light? And can I change it up to being either a neutral situation or replace it with a positive replacement? So my plans have been canceled, to, hey, I just have a free couple hours in my schedule. What fun thing can I do now, right? How can I relax or unwind? The third thing that you can do to replace things is to change your self-limiting statements to questions, okay? Because your brain is always going to look for the evidence of a good question. So self-limiting statements like, oh, I can't handle this, or, oh, this is impossible, are particularly damaging statements that you can take, because that's going to increase your stress level. It's going to tell your brain to stop looking for solutions, because there are no solutions, when actually you need to start thinking with an open mind, with a growth mindset. They say the next time you find yourself thinking that something might be limited, try thinking about how it's possible. How can I handle this? How is this possible? What might be some solutions I could find? Sound more hopeful and more open and more imaginative to new possibilities, and creating a positive change in your life that's going to help you go farther than getting stopped at a little red brick road or whatever I might say here. I don't know. Anyway, you can help yourself develop more positive self-talk by bringing your positive energy into life, surrounding yourself with positive people, being around role models, digging into positive content, and filling your brain up with good things every single day. Another strategy I have for you into changing the self-talk is for you to notice the positive talk in other people. Did you ever know that you start to become the people you hang out with? That doesn't matter whether it's physically face-to-face that you're hanging out with them or the people that you're hanging out with online, whether it's a chat room or it's a social media feed or a Facebook group, or maybe it's the people that you listen to, like on the talk radio. You're consuming content, and the people that you hang out with are the people you become. So start to hang out with more positive people. I know for me personally, when I started plugging in right away at the beginning of the day with a positive and motivational speaker, like with another podcast called Quote of the Day, I was able to start my brain on a very positive path. And I was then continuing that way. So I started to become like the people that I was listening to. My words started to model theirs. My actions started to model theirs. And then I started to become a more positive person. I started to lessen the negative self-talk and grow in confidence as I went along the way. More positivity, it will create more optimism, more success, more joy, more confidence, and everyone wins when that's the situation. So watch what you tell yourself because you're likely to believe it. And when you can start talking to yourself in a positive way, you're going to have a heck of a lot more time having fun and finding more joy in life and just creating a wonderful life that you love and that you want to have more of in life. All right, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. And if you have, I would love for you to share it on social media. Tell a friend about Choose to Rise. Talk to other people about it. Share it on your social media even. And just tell more people. Leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Super simple to do. I can't wait to see you back here again next time. Thanks. Have a great day.